Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and there's Derek, as usual. How you doing, Derek?
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Busy, hectic day, but hey, I survived.
So, for those of you, whenever we do the show and like 4 times a show, you hear Ricky's ringtone go off, and he always forgets to turn it off. But it'll happen 3 times tonight. But he got one of those today while we were doing the pre-show. And somebody we featured last week, they're still listed as missing on KBI's website. But Ricky, we're getting some word from the family that maybe she's on her way back, or
Yeah, Joanna Shupman. I was messaged earlier and told she was found, and she's on her way back to Kansas.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to hear that she was found safe, and should be reunited with family. There's some family with her on the flight back, but yeah,
Good.
I'll have her back here hopefully soon.
What was she? Was she 14 or 16? I don't recall.
16.
16. Okay.
16. Yeah.
But still, I had a friend who ran away from that area in high school when we were 14, and they got caught in New Jersey, and the police. There was the sheriff from. No, it wasn't a sheriff. It was one of my friends, Karen Thrall. It was her dad was a cop, and he had went all the way to New Jersey, and he had to fly my 2 friends back home. And my buddy said that he was really nice. He wasn't hard on them or anything. He's like, "You guys have some fun, man." He's like, "Everybody's been worried about you for like 2 weeks." So, but
Right.
yeah, it's good to hear she's coming home. Looks like we got Connie
Definitely.
Judenhouse from White City, Kansas. Roxanne
Yep.
Fisher Jackson here every week. We appreciate
Hey,
that,
Roxanne.
Tammy's in Kiowa. Casey Reed's in
Tammy.
Salina over there where you are, Ricky.
Hey, Casey. how you
Ellen in
doing?
Leavenworth. Xavier in the room. Kim's in Newton. Brianna is in Glasgow. And then we have Andrea from Junction City. See, the thing is, we're getting ready to have a guest on here for a minute or so. He's a host of another show on Back Home Media, and he spent 30 years coaching sports in Southwest Kansas, so he probably knows where all these little towns are, as where I don't. Every week you tell me Lawrence, LFK. That's all I'll say. How you doing, Kaylee? And then we got Luana. Okay, she's tagging somebody. Any more on Kenny? We are going to cover Kenny here in just a little bit, Connie. We will be covering Kenny here in just a few minutes. Trisha Arnold holding it down in YouTube land. That's awesome.
There we go.
Osawatomie, Kansas. Never heard of her.
Hutchinson,
yeah. Great Bend, Concordia.
Everybody.
Christopher Unruh from Greensboro. Everybody's here tonight.
Yep.
We got a packed house.
Greensburg.
Right.
That's cool.
All right. Well, I tell you what, without no further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on our buddy Norm here. He hosts In the Free Zone with Norm every Wednesday night over on In the Free Zone with Norm page, and over here at the Back Home Media page as well. Norm, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, you got to brush up on your Kansas geography there, Derek.
I don't know where anything is. I know where Liberal and Dodge City is. That's about it. Like, I can get you there to the Walmart, but that's about it.
There we go. I suppose that was all that was necessary.
So to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, you coach sports basically, and you've been a teacher for the last 30 years in Kansas, basically.
Yeah, I've been a coach for about 35 years in Kansas, teacher for 30 years. I am now in Oklahoma for my first year because I took my retirement in Kansas. But yeah, I am, as you said, the host of In the Free Zone with Norm, where we talk about really a little bit of everything, but we, especially this time of year, we talk a lot of high school sports. And one of the things that we really try to promote on In the Free Zone with Norm is just involvement in extracurricular activities, not just for the students, but for the whole community, really.
Yeah, well, we wanted to bring you on tonight because, you know, and teaching for 30 years, I'm sure you've seen like your fair share of like truancy type issues where people are unaccounted for and stuff, and a lot of times it's on people's own accord.
Yeah.
What are your background on that, and as far as like with extracurricular activities, cutting down on that a little bit, maybe?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, the students that are consistently truant, and even students that run away from home and things like that, generally are students that are detached from the community as a whole and detached from the people around them. I mean, that's not true in every instance, but it's generally true. And that's what provides that impetus for them to want to get away, you know? And so obviously the more that you can get students involved in things, the more involved they are in the community, the more they are involved they are in the school, the less likely they are to be consistently truant, the less likely they are to have that desire to just want to take off and get out of there. In other words, if being where you are is a more desirable thing, you're less likely to want to leave that situation. And extracurricular activities are a good way to promote a lot of that.
And it's not really the same as it was when you got into this. Like, you know, here you are 30 years later, and now here in a week or two, you and me are going to talk to an esports coach. Now, like, sports have, like, the word sport has broadened quite a bit, right, in the last 30 years.
Yeah, and esports is a great example. I mean, for those of you who don't know what esports are, we're talking about video games, basically. But esports is a great example of how schools and even athletic associations in states are trying to do more and more to get more and more students involved. They realize that extracurricular activities have got to evolve for, you know, as our student populations are evolving, they've got to evolve to get more and more students involved. You know, and that's a huge point of emphasis for a lot of schools and for a lot of state athletic associations.
Have you seen a drop in numbers as far as, you know, because where I'm from, you know, and you know where I'm from because you're from there, it used to be people used to go out and up and down the street. Nobody does that anymore. Do you find that with social media and people being able to be a presence from their couch, do you find it harder to get people to go out for sports and extracurricular activities? Or
yeah, the involvement in extracurricular activities is pretty much down across the board. It may not be at every single school, but if you look at the state and the nation as a whole, involvement in extracurricular activities is down. And there are a myriad of reasons for that. I mean, it's easy to blame it on social media, and that probably does have some effect, but, you know, society has a huge effect on it. Students working jobs and things like that has an effect on it. The changing demographics of certain parts of the country have an effect on it. You know, there are so many things that have an impact on that, and so it's hard to put your finger on just one. So what you have to do then to try to increase involvement is you have to take a shotgun approach to that as well. You know, there are a lot of different things that you have to try to do to increase involvement.
Right. Well, we super appreciate you stopping by. I think it's really important. You know, you've been around it for 30 years, and you've seen how sports and not even just sports, you have debate, you have all kinds of stuff. You know, like you said, there's lots of activities for basically just for somewhere for people to go that's not out where there's no adult supervision and there's no positive role models and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Any extracurricular activity, there are huge benefits to involvement in any extracurricular activity. It doesn't need to be sports. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. So many schools, they have they have clubs for different role-playing games after school, or they have clubs for different, I mean, at Liberal, we had like a Yu-Gi-Oh club, and we had just stuff that I don't even know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Right. I will freely admit that. I don't even know what some of the stuff they were doing was, you know, but yeah, they had all kinds of extracurricular activities. You don't have to go out for football to be involved in an extracurricular activity. You know, there's band, choir, debate, forensics, there are after school clubs, there are, you know, all kinds of things you can do to get involved and become more a part of a community, because the more we are all a part of a community, the more we all stick together, the better off we all will be.
Yes, I agree. That's a great message. Norm, I know the answer to this. What nights can people watch In the Free Zone with Norm?
Wednesday evenings at 8:00. Yeah. So of course you and of course you can download us from any of your podcast platforms at any time. You don't
That's
have to
true.
be there Wednesday evenings, you know.
Exactly. Well, Norm, we appreciate you stopping by. We got a lot of show to get to yet, but we really
Yeah.
appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you tomorrow night, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
All right, we'll be back, everybody.
If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, please call the National Human Trafficking Line at 1-888-373-7888.
All right. Look, going to start off with AJ Perez here. Again, he's missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He's 35. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves off, nearly bald, and brown eyes. Alexander last contacted a family member via telephone on December 1st and advised he'd be coming by to do laundry. He never arrived at that family member's house, and nobody's heard or seen him since that time. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. Initially, it was believed that he may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City area or surrounding areas. And as we've talked about, some not so pleasant information has surfaced as to what may have happened to Alex. Again, he's 35, 5'11", 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves off, and he has brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on the chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help bring Alex home to where he needs to be.
All right. With it coming up on a year,
Yeah.
Is it pretty much the only updates we've gotten since this case started from Irene, basically, and the family?
Mm-hmm. That's
like, because we haven't updated the flyer at all, right? It's been a year of the same flyer read, right?
Yeah. The only update that I have ever actually made is I added the 2 photos of the tattoo with the cross on the chain, and that's really the only updates that I've made to it.
And I'm not trying to sound dark, man, but like that's really sad, man. Like we've been reading the same flyer for going on a year.
Yeah.
And if you, of course, we know some things maybe that not everybody knows, but I mean, that's just stuff that the families told us. I mean, it blows my mind that this is just like, we're still going on close to a year. And like, from as far as the public's perception, there's no new leads. There's no new data. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't hit a year, and we're getting closer and closer every day.
Yeah. And Alex's aunt, Sandra, she commented going on a year. My nephew, AJ, thank you all so much. We need closure. Holidays are hard without him.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to comment, pretty much no news, pretty sad.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about, we understand how, the police aren't just going to come out and be like, well, this is what we know. That can't happen. We understand that. But, it's just sad, that we're going on a year.
It is. And
I don't know. I feel like I know the guy. I obviously never met him, but we've covered this. We've covered his flyer more than anybody we've ever covered, obviously. And I think it was just, Irene showing up every week. I'm like, what are you going to do? Not do it?
Right.
It's like we have to find this guy.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
And Andrea pretty much echoes your sentiment there, and saying that it's so sad going on a year, and I feel like I know him just by watching this. I hope they find him.
Yeah. Well, another one we want to talk about tonight, and we had got a comment earlier. We're gonna bring up Kenny Rychek again. We've been covering him quite a bit in this last month or two. I don't know. I
Yeah.
have a feeling maybe we'll learn something soon just by I don't know. I feel like it's been in my spirit recently to keep, telling Ricky, let's cover this. And Ricky's brought it up a couple of weeks to cover it. So
Yeah.
hopefully we learn something soon. But yeah, let's talk about, and this is another one. We don't have any updates on the Flyers for the
Yeah.
year.
And it's actually been just over 2 years for him.
Yeah.
So, but he's missing from here in Salina. Missing since November 4th of 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He'd now be 71. He's 5'9", 175, gray hair and blue eyes. He suffers from diminished mental capabilities and is on disability, but he's not tried to access his funds since he was last seen. He possibly does have family around the Colby, Kansas area. He does not have a phone, vehicle, or identification. At one point, they thought maybe he'd tried to go to Wichita or was in Wichita, but they've never been able to confirm or verify that. I'd found out. Again, when he went missing, he was 69. He's now 71. He's 5'9", weighs 175. He has gray hair and blue eyes. If anybody has any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And again, the only other information that I really know is when he lived in an apartment catty corner from the police department. He was evicted from that apartment. The police department took him out to the Gospel Mission, which is essentially a homeless shelter for men, and dropped him off there. And he was having some kind of an issue with one of the residents there, and so he left there, and he hasn't been seen since that time. So, and I've heard people say, yeah, they drove by his apartment after he was evicted, and all his stuff was out in the front yard. Stuff like that. And got a little bit of confusing information on the bicycle, because initially somebody said it was stolen, and they said he got a new one. So it was confused as to whether, if he did get a new bike, or was it the new one that was stolen, or a little murky there, trying to figure that one out.
I have a question for you, and you might not know the answer to this, Ricky. I know that you pretty much your knowledge of Kenny as you watched him play pinball a little bit, and you saw him around town like everybody else in Salina. But do you know his story, like where he's from, who his folks are, or anything like that?
I don't know. I just know, seen him around town playing pinball and video games and stuff at the gas stations, going back to my teen years. And
you've never heard anything like why Salina, Kansas, why Kenny chose that to be his home where he did those. Okay.
No, I've never heard him talk about that or anything, but I mean, I know he used to go around town. Since I'd heard he had 2 payees on his money, and they were not real free with giving him money when he wanted it. So he would go around town picking up scrap metal and taking it over to Salina Iron and Metal, which is now under a new name, and cash it in there for pocket money, periodically. And I was just in Salina Iron and Metal one day last week, I guess it was, and I asked her again if they'd seen Kenny anywhere or had been in any time recently, and she said nope, I hadn't seen him at all. So I'm going to take a couple flyers over there and ask and have them post a couple flyers. I asked her if she should do that, and she said, yeah, I just got to get them printed off and taken over there.
Okay. Yeah.
So, it'd be, and I'm hoping, Dennis with Muddy Water Search and Recovery, he's going to try to work on organizing the search up here and see if he can find out anything.
Really?
So,
yeah. I'd love to have him on here.
Yeah, and I want to get him on here. I've talked to him about it, and he's more than willing to come on. So,
well, that's good.
Get it set up. We just got to get him set up.
Yeah, because I think that him doing what he does on YouTube is a humongous part of this workload of what the same reason that Ashley Duff does this stuff. The reason we're all here is for the victims, and him doing that on YouTube. Like that's awesome. That's awesome. He's doing his part. He's speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. And I think it's great. And I'd love to have him on anytime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I hate covering these cases, and this is another one that we've covered multiple times, and we still want to get more information. Let's go ahead and talk about Colton Barrera.
Yeah, Colton. He's one of the first cases actually that when I first started doing this page, when I first started, it was one of the ones that I really started following back then, and I still keep up on it as best I can. He's missing from Russell, Kansas since September 26, 2008. He was 17 when he went missing. He's now 31. 5'9", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. A friend took him on, to an outdoor skate park, and Colton was supposed to call him back when he wanted to be picked up, and he never got that phone call. Initially, police believe that he left on his own accord, but Colton's family doesn't believe this because he wasn't having any problems that would cause him to run away, and he left his wallet and ID behind. It's believed that he has been killed and his body's been hidden. If you have any information regarding Colton's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Russell County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-483-2151, or you can call the FBI Kansas City, Missouri field office at 816-512-8200. And I know his mom prefers that people call the FBI KCMO field office over Russell County. I know she prefers people call them and get the FBI re-involved because they were involved at one time, I guess, and she wants to get them involved again. So, you know, if you have any information, definitely call the FBI KCMO field office and let them know what information that you do have.
That bit you added on at the end about him being, did you say he was, it's rumored he's been dismembered?
No, just killed and body hidden.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? But that's on the flyer. That's like the belief of even the police that he was.
Well, it's believed by family. It's believed by family.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that matters, you know. That's the family of the.
Yeah.
And sadly, you know, I'm sure they have detectives on the case and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The family.
The flyer actually reads: recent information suggests that Colton may have been killed and his body hidden.
Okay.
So yeah. Hopefully we can, you know, somebody will speak up and do the right thing and tell what they know, you know. Because I know this has been torture on his mom for a lot of years now, and she just wants to be able to bring him home and lay him to rest in a proper grave in a cemetery, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's been 13, little over 13 years. So, I mean, you know, like I said, I just pray that somebody will step up and do the right thing and start talking. It's long overdue.
Yeah. Way too long. 2008 was a long time ago. And
yeah.
I was going to say earlier, you know that the police have to, you know, they work on this as much as they can, but they have new cases every day. But you find out when you talk to these families that a lot of times the lead investigators on these cold cases are the family. They're the only ones that are really digging because the police have kind of exhausted all leads.
Yeah. Definitely.
And just if any family members are out there that watch this show, and if we cover a loved one of yours, and you feel like we've got it wrong, and we're not telling it like you, we will give you a microphone. We will let you talk on this show.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We want to give you the opportunity to tell your side of the story. So anybody that wants to talk, you always contact the Facebook page. Ricky, you'll be there to field that for you, and we'll go ahead and get you on the show as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about Dennis Leschbauer Jr.
Okay. Okay, Dennis. He is missing from Iola, Kansas. And there he is right there. Since August 13th of 2017. He was 44 when he went missing. He's 49 now. He's 5'6" to 5'8". Weighs between 180 and 200 pounds. He has dark brown hair and blue eyes. He was camping with his girlfriend off of Ford Road near Neosho River outside of Chanute. They had an argument, and Dennis left in his van. The van was found almost 2 weeks later, abandoned approximately 5 miles from where they were camping in a field on Arizona Road, close to Neosho County and Allen County line on the Allen County side. Again, he was 44 when he went missing. He would now be 49. He is between 5'6" and 5'8", weighs between 180 and 200 pounds, has dark brown hair and blue eyes. He has surgical scars on both shoulders and a tattoo on his right shoulder blade. He had a plate surgically implanted in his back. And if anybody has any information regarding Dennis's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Allen County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-365-1400 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get him found and brought home where he needs to be as well. I know he's got family wondering about him and where he's at and what happened to him.
Well, one thing that I'll say that, you know, and this is not, you know, it's just anytime I hear a story where somebody's missing and the last person that saw him alive is like, oh well, we had an argument and they just took off. Like that just makes me feel like, really, like that's what happened. You got in what was the argument? Oh, nothing big. Well, why did this person just take off? You know, I always just feel like, I don't know, like the whole van being found in the middle of nowhere with nothing there. It just doesn't look good. You know, it doesn't look good at all. And I don't know who he was, you know, running around with at that part of his life. You know, because really at the end of the day, you know, it's really who you surround yourself with, which is what's going to be the deciding factor of how your day ends up, you know. So I don't know. I just find like fishy, like, oh, he got mad and left, and then we found his van 2 weeks later. I don't know. To me, that's just a little, I don't know.
Right.
I never believe anything. No, you know me, Ricky. You know me. Roxanne says, I hate how cops automatically want to say, oh, just to run away and don't take it seriously. I don't care if they think it's a runaway. It's still a missing person that needs to be found. That's correct.
Do I know?
I said that is correct. I was just reading this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
I wish someone would say something about Dana Bruce. She's been missing for 13 years now, and she had 2 kids that are growing up without her. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you, Brandon, have a flyer for Dana Bruce? Because I know we've covered her before.
We'll see if we can find something. Let me see. I wanted to go ahead and talk about Dietrich Foster again one more time. And this one is the one that there is a $5,000 reward for. So if that's something that would motivate you, if you have information on this case, Ricky's going to give you some information real quick.
All right. I got to pull his flyer because we didn't mention that one during the getting ready for the show.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. I just got to find him real quick here. It's right here. Okay.
And I also, from last week's show, I also pulled Shannon Ray Miller too, so I didn't tell you that one either. But we'll do Dietrich first.
Okay. He's missing. Dietrich's missing from Independence, Kansas, since April 12th of 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He would now be 39. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported on missing on May 12th. He was last seen around April 12th. KBI agents and detectives from Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based on findings during the investigation into Foster's disappearance. You have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't generate some information on what happened to Dietrich and get him back home to where he needs to be. Because I know he's got loved ones that are worried about him and want him brought home and are still looking for him. But, you know, as they're saying, you know, they're investigating it as a homicide. They do believe that he was murdered. So,
yeah.
Hopefully I don't know. They believe he was murdered. So hopefully he's not, but
right.
It's not looking very well at this point.
Well, I mean, not to be dark, man, but anytime you have a missing person and it's not somebody that left on their own accord, I mean, them being deceased, I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, somebody has them tied up somewhere. You know, it's like if somebody's missing for 2 years, it's like either they don't want to be found or something happened, in my opinion. You know, like what are you going to do with a person for 2 years? You know, it's like, you know, is he locked in a closet or something? No, it's like something happened that day. And it sounds like the police are kind of hip to knowing it sounds like a homicide, you know? And again, we don't know that for sure, but you know, the fact that, you know, there's a governor reward of $5,000 shows you to believe that maybe this is a big deal. Maybe something bad happened and maybe there's some people mixed up in this case that need to be found out.
Yeah. And I was just noticing that AJ Perez's aunt brought up to my attention in comments that the phone number I have on the flyer is actually the number to City Hall. So I did some checking. Ulysses, Kansas Police Department is actually 620-356-3500 on AJ Perez. So might make a note of that. Alexander Perez, the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department is 620-356-3500. I apologize for my mistake on there. I will correct that after the show.
Ricky.
I don't know how I made that mistake.
And then we're going to do Shannon Ray Miller next.
Okay.
All right. And this is we aren't going to cover the full spectrum of this case, but this is do we know if this is related to the other disappearances yet or anything, or
They don't seem to think so.
okay.
No. Shannon Ray Miller went missing from Turley, Oklahoma on October 19th, 2021. Shannon's girlfriend, Shanna Reagan, left for work early that morning. When she returned home, Shannon was gone. The car he was driving was found by Shanna October 21st at 106th Street North on the bridge over Bird Creek. Shannon's phone was found in the car. Family members and Shanna found his wallet and other belongings by the water. Again, he's 39, 5'7", weighs 180 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes, and he does have multiple tattoos. If you have any information regarding Shannon's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Tulsa County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office at 918-596-500 and see if we can't help get him found and brought home too.
Yeah, that's not good sounding.
I looked for updates.
Water.
I did look for updates on the other two before the show, and there's nothing. I haven't seen anything new yet. So, yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And let me check this one out. Andrea Lynn saying, my uncle's friend's daughter is missing for 2 years now. She was 16, I believe. What was her name? Do you know?
Yeah, let us know.
So I don't know if we get a name. I can see if I have a flyer up for her or if I need to make one.
Did we say hi to Lori Hayes from Hayes earlier? I was busy sharing the show earlier, and Mondi's here too.
Yeah. No, I don't think we did.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I was busy sharing the show out. You know, I wanted to get as many people here as possible. I have to go to get the information for. Okay, just send it to the Kansas Missing and Unsolved page.
Yeah, just message it to me.
We're gonna go ahead and cover a fresh case that we made. Brandon made this flyer for tonight's show. We're gonna go ahead and talk about McGuire Thomas.
Yeah, this one he just went missing today, as a matter of fact. And I want to double check something real fast before I get into it and see if there's any updates real quick here. If my computer would quit being slow. Let's see. Nothing new on him yet. Okay, McGuire Thomas. As soon as I locate his flyer here. Missing from Prairie Village, Kansas since November 9th. So today, at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. He's 22 years old. He's 5'9", 220 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He was last seen at his home near West 86th Terrace and Knoll Avenue in Prairie Village. He's known to visit parks, and he's been described as low functioning, is mostly nonverbal, and may react physically to a stranger. His phone was last pinged in the area of West 87th Street and Glenwood and Overland Park. Again, he's 22, he's 5'9", weighs 220, has brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen wearing a NASA shirt with black sweatpants. If you have any information regarding McGuire's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Prairie Village, Kansas Police Department at 913-381-6464 and see if we can help get him found and brought home. And I would almost even add to that since he may react physically to a stranger, to not try to call out to him or stop him in any way, just call 911 or Prairie Village and let them know that you found him and have them send somebody out.
And keep an eye on him, you know.
Yeah, keep an eye on him.
Wander off, but don't let him know you're keeping an eye on him. But yeah, if you see this guy, you know.
Yeah. It says he's mostly nonverbal, so.
Okay. And I'm assuming, are the headphones a comfort thing for him? So would the headphones probably be a part of what he was wearing? Or
I don't know. It didn't say in any information anything about it.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a comfort thing, a noise reduction type thing, or if it's just a radio, or I don't know.
Right.
That'd be interesting information to have to know. But
right.
It was not disclosed in the press release from Prairie Village or anything like that. So.
Let's talk about Charity Bauman. I feel like have we covered?
Yeah, she had been found and she went missing again. So She's missing from Topeka, Kansas since October 25th of 2021. She's 18. She's 5'1", weighs between 88 and 98 pounds. Has blonde hair that was last known to be dyed black and blue eyes. It's believed she may still be in Topeka or she might be in the Kansas City area. And she's also known to wear wigs at times. So if you have any information regarding Charity's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department, 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get her located and back where she needs to be. Hopefully we can. Yep.
Well, we don't have a ton of cases tonight, everybody.
Yeah. By my count, we have 2 more, but we also have, the headline on the preview for the show about that serial killer they just arrested in St. Louis, and
so we have Melanie Davidson left.
Yep, and
Cameron Carlson Branch.
He was located safe.
Okay.
Yep, he was located safe.
Samaria Davis.
And I've got somebody asking any updates on Guy Collins, Jariah Peterson. I have not seen or read anything. I've been looking for updates on him, but I have not seen anything as of yet. Let me look on KBI and see if they still have him listed there. Real quick here. Yep, he's still listed. So he is still listed as missing. But as of right now, nothing new on his case yet.
Mary's late. We still got a little bit. You still got some show left, Mary. You're just on time. Yeah. You're just on time. What about any updates on Sasha Brooks Kosminski?
I haven't heard of any updates on Sasha's. No, we'll have to cover her next week. See if I can find anything out between now and next show here. And I see Andrew. Yeah, Rosalind Velasquez. Let me write that name down before you click off that comment. QUEZ. Missing since August 24th of 2020.
I am sick.
Not quite 2 years. Well, yeah. About a year, a little over a year now.
Yeah.
A year and a couple months.
Tammy's saying she wishes that Dakota Gilmer would be found safe.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything new on Dakota either. And then we got Jason asking any updates on Eddie Walker. I don't even know if I have a flyer up for him.
We will have to look into that one, Jason.
Yeah. That name is not ringing a bell. Of course, I make flyers all the time. And I do have a flyer for him. Okay.
We'll get that on next week's show, Jason.
Yeah. I'll have to. I'm making a note here.
Andrea says her uncle's going to send her info so she can send it to us. Awesome.
Sweet. Thank you, Andrea.
We were going to have a busy Thursday. Hopefully we have a big located safe.
Yeah.
That would be great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about, here we go. Do we have Melanie Davidson, right?
Okay. Yeah. And actually, she had been found and went missing again between, I think the last one was in October, and then now this one. So this was actually a new flyer with some better photos. Melanie went missing from Wichita November 6, 2021. She's 13, 5'6", 155 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. Melanie may identify as a male and sometimes interchanges the use of their name, Melanie, with Max Davidson.
Max.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And again, she's 13, 5'6", 155, blonde hair, blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Melanie's disappearance or you know of their whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her found again and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully somebody can nail down why she continually runs, because this is like the third time in less than a month, I believe.
I mean, I'm no expert, but if I was in charge of things, I'd maybe go check out where she's staying, see if there's any issues there, see if there's a reason she's taking off or he's taking off, they're taking off.
Yeah.
I will say this: the haircut on the right kind of reminds me of my hair right now. I was showing Brandon my haircut last night. It's pretty much how my hair is cut right now, because I went to get a haircut and the lady was in a hurry and she's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, just surprise me," and it kind of looks like that. So must be a new style or something, but hopefully we can get some traction on this. Looks like it's only been a couple of days, but 13 years old is, pretty young for anybody to be unaccounted for, especially in the Wichita area, bigger city type like that.
Nettie Walker is still listed as missing on KBI as well. So
okay,
yeah.
We have Mia Davis next.
Yep, Samurai Davidson. We've covered her before. It's the same flyer. The picture on the far left and the picture on the far right was just sent to me last night, and I was asked to add them and repost, so that's what I did. But we'll go ahead and cover the flyer just to remind everybody that she is missing from Lawrence, Kansas since August 30th of 2021. She's 17. She's 5'8", 135, black hair, brown eyes. It's believed she's either in Kansas City, Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri. And if anybody has the information regarding Samurai's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Lawrence, Kansas Police Department at 785-832-7509 or 785-843-8477, which is our Crime Stoppers number, or KBI at 785-296-4017. So again, the far left and the far right photos are most recent photos of Samurai. So if anybody knows where she's at or seen her, call those numbers and let them know so they can get her found back to where she needs to be.
Right.
Yep.
We have two more to cover, and then we have now we have Dana Jane Bruce, Sedalia, Missouri.
Okay. And I just pulled her flyer. Where are you? There you are. She's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th of 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 36. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left her children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at the Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with him at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Bruce after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities haven't named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush, and she doesn't have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 36. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights. She has green and hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings with the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. And if anybody has any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100. Or you can call the Missouri State Highway Patrol Missing Persons Unit at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422. And see if we can't help them find out what happened to Dana and bring her home.
What was the bit about, you said marijuana?
The guy that she was with, he was arrested on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license.
Okay. I thought maybe she got in trouble with that.
No. It was him.
Okay. Well, I don't know. It's again, if she's with us still, where is she?
Yeah.
Like on an island, having fun. Like I just don't understand. We see these people missing for this many years. I'm just like, I just don't possibly see how there could be like a great outcome. Like, just where would they be? You know, it's like, and I mean, and there's not like any reason. It doesn't seem like why she would just uproot and not tell anybody where she was going.
Right.
To this day, still not returned. I mean, first of all, anybody that's ever had a creditor, how do you actually get to where nobody can find you? I mean, you might dodge your family for a few weeks, but your creditors will find you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If somebody wants to find you in this country, they'll find you. So the fact that people are just, you can't find them or get a hold of them, it just scares me. That it just scares me. And especially something this old, 2008, that's the same as, Colton, it's just a long time to go without seeing somebody.
Yeah. Definitely too long.
She says the detailed description should be very helpful with identifying her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For Tammy, we're going to go ahead and Brandon went ahead and pulled this up here. We have Dakota Gilmer.
Okay. I got to pull his flyer real quick.
Oh, that was a recent October 17th, huh?
Yeah. Went too long
Coming
ago.
up on a month.
Let's see here. There it is. Okay. As soon as my computer decides to pull it up. There we go. Missing from Park City, Kansas since October 17, 2021. He's 17. He is 5'8" to 6'2". Weighs between 160 and 170. Has dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. It's believed that he may either be in Wichita or in Park City. I was actually told that he went missing while he was in Wichita, but he does live in Park City. Again, he's 17. He's 5'8" to 6'2", weighs between 160 and 170. He has dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. He has a tattoo of an arrow on his right forearm. And if you have any information regarding Dakota's disappearance, his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456. Or 316-263-6011, or the KBI at 785-201-2917. And see if we can get him found and back to where he needs to be. He's been missing quite some time. And actually, Brandon used the old version of Dakota's because I updated it with a different picture on the far left, and on the far right, I took off the one with the bow tie and put a picture of the tattoo of the arrow.
Oh, that tattoo. Well, we're going to talk about some stuff that happened in Brandon's part of the country this week. We're also going to talk about some other stuff real quick. Andrew, you can send the information straight to the Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook page. Or Ricky, what's your email address?
You can do Kansas Missing and Unsolved. It's all spelled out at yahoo.com.
So either two of those places. The best, the easiest way would be to go to our Facebook page, send a private message. Ricky will get it right now, and his phone will go on the air. But we're going to be right back after this. We're going to have Brandon come on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some cool stuff that happened in North Carolina.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Welcome to the show, producer extraordinaire Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky is busy jotting things down. We had a lot of people sending information in tonight.
Yeah.
Actually, I was typing a message in the private chat is what I was doing.
Oh, that was an old mess. Okay. Yeah, so she's going to send the information. So anyway, this week I had found a picture of an article that I had sent to the boys here. Happened over in Brandon's part of the country. Brandon, since it happened in your state, you want to kind of tell us a little bit what went down?
Well, I mean, I know from what I remember from the article, it was more about the hand gesture that saved a child, that they had learned it on TikTok. And the hand gesture, in case anybody doesn't know, is you go this, put your thumb in, put your fingers down. It's basically signaling I need help, telling somebody that you need some help. And doing that is somebody they were doing that, and somebody noticed and was brave enough to actually do something about it.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't just take it as and just go about their day. They actually stepped up and did something about it, and actually was able to help the child get home safe. So,
and it
that's
turned out
one
she was
positive thing of social media. Yeah,
it turned out she was a missing girl, and there was an actual missing report filed for her.
yeah, and so they were able to get her found.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just this. It's like, what did you say? You said you had words with it earlier, and we were.
Well, I was just saying I need help. I don't know if that's exactly what it needed.
I need words to remember. I need help. So that helps me.
Help. Yeah, that's how it helps me too.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because really, I don't know, man. Like, it's sad to say, but like, how many people do we walk by? The people that lives in cities. How many people do you walk by, every day that need help? And it might not be a missing person. It might not be a missing teen. It could be, somebody that's being abused, or, somebody who needs to get away from something. Like I like that there is the signals that people can do. Cause sometimes like you can like that one girl that got kidnapped, was Elizabeth Smart. Like she got kidnapped and they would like leave her unattended, for like hours at a time. And people were like, well, why didn't she run? It's like, look, she was scared to death of those people,
She was terrified.
Like, and they were like, well, she was out in public with them. Why didn't she scream? It's like in her head, she thought if she said anything, she'd be dead before she got to her second word.
Right.
So it is good that if somebody does have an abductor or a captor and they turn their head for a second, that you can just look at somebody. And honestly, man, for as much crap as TikTok has polluted this world with, I'm glad that that's something that has gotten out there.
Positive that's gotten out from it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Well, I also wanted to update everybody. We do have some KMU shirts. They went up for sale, and I just got the confirmation that we just shipped out the very first order of the KMU shirts we ever printed. And I'm happy to say that it's going to a Miss Trisha Arnold. So it's shipped out to her. Trisha, it is on its way to you. And we really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to snatching me up one of the hoodies.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get me a shirt to start. Well, I don't know, man.
It's getting into colder weather. I'm gonna wear the hoodie a lot more.
Yeah, it's getting ready to get chilly. I'll probably get the hoodie too. The hats look cool too. Like there's the hats are cool. So yeah, and that's just something to help out with some of the stuff that it costs. It costs money to have this program that we're using here right now, and stuff like that costs money. So it just helps out with stuff like that. But
Roxanne brought up something here I didn't know. A black dot in the palm of the hand means I need help also. So if you put a black dot on the palm of your hand.
I'm glad I know that, because people could have been doing this to me all day and I'd be like, oh, hi, how you doing? I wouldn't know what was happening. So I'm glad we talked about that. Oh, I forgot. Trisha did order a hoodie. So she got the KMU hoodie. Trisha, whenever you get it, send us a picture, because we want to know what they look like.
We're getting them too, but you'll probably get yours before we get ours.
You're gonna get yours before us. We're all between paydays, but we're gonna get hoodies this week or something like that. But yeah, those are out there. If anybody's interested, you can just go to backhomemedia.com/shop, or just go to backhomemedia.com and you can see there's a page for KMU there. There's some information about Ricky and what he's about, and you can actually if you're watching this and you want to reach out to this show and you need help, the best way to do it is our Facebook page, or if you go to backhomemedia.com, there's actually a page for this show, and Ricky's one click away to email him, one click away to go to a lot of his places. So Ricky's one click away at backhomemedia.com. So that's a good resource, and we're also going to be amping that site up a little bit more in the next coming months and stuff. So
yeah, we've been putting some work into it the past couple of days.
Cool.
Yeah, trying to make things better. But we appreciate everybody watching tonight. And
I know Ricky wanted to get on to the whole reason the show's named after the St. Louis serial killer. Ricky, what you got on that, buddy?
Well, actually, my brother brought it to my attention, but KSK.com I believe they're out of St. Louis. Suspected serial killer was arrested for 6 homicides in St. Louis area and the Kansas City, Kansas area. Police arrested a man believed to be the serial killer responsible for 6 murders and several shootings that happened in St. Louis County and Kansas City, Kansas, in a span of several weeks in September and later. Police linked Perez Reed, a 24-year-old Bellefontaine neighbor's man, to 2 murders and 1 shooting in St. Louis City, 2 murders in St. Louis County, and after he used the same gun to shoot all victims, a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson, then connected Reed to 2 murders in high-rise apartment complex in Kansas City, Kansas in late October through other evidence, according to the sources. Within minutes of 5 On Your Side publishing its initial report, St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell's office announced 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of first-degree assault against Reed. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly Gardner said that they're continuing to work on the case, but charges have not been filed. The full statement is as follows. The Circuit Attorney's Office has been working closely with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department from the beginning on this investigation. This is a complex, multi-jurisdictional case. The cases in the city of St. Louis are currently under investigation to ensure the most important goal, that justice is brought to the many victims and their families, and the person responsible is held accountable for these heinous crimes. The suspected killer's motives remain unknown. Most of the victims were women. Police said some were involved in sex work and other victims were known to dress as women. Some of the victims were shot in the back, according to the sources. But some victims didn't fit into any type of pattern, and some survived. One man was waiting for a bus when he was shot, but survived, according to the sources. Police do not believe the victims knew each other, and most of them did not know their killer, who does not have much of a criminal history, according to court documents. And I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit. The first homicide happened almost exactly 24 hours later in St. Louis County when Marnay Haynes, 16, was killed in the 9900 block of Glen Owen Drive. She had been shot in her arm and head, and police found 2 .40 caliber Smith & Wesson cartridge cases at the scene. 3 days later, 10:23 p.m. on September 16th, the woman was shot in the face behind a building in the 4500 block of Adelaide Avenue. Police responded to a nearby gas station where they found a victim who was conscious and breathing but unable to provide a statement, according to court documents. Police followed a trail of blood that led to the rear of a building where the shooting took place and found 1 .40 caliber Smith & Wesson cartridge casing at the scene, according to the documents. Then less than 2 hours later, at 11:45 the same night, St. Louis police found 49-year-old Pamela Amber Crombie lying on the street suffering from a gunshot wound in the 3800 block of West Florissant Avenue, only half a mile away from the previous shooting scene. She died at a hospital, and police found a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson cartridge at the scene as well, according to court documents. 3 days later, on September 19th, police found 24-year-old Carrie Ross in a vacant lot suffering from a gunshot wound in the 1500 block of Molenfi Street. I hope I said that right. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and police believe he may have been deceased for an extended period. They found the same type of cartridge casings at the scene. Police later determined gunshots had been detected in the area at 11:52 p.m. on September 18th. Officers who responded to that area did not find the victim. On September 26th, the killer struck again, this time in Ferguson. Police found 40-year-old Lester Robinson dead in the 1700 block of Barbados Lane at 7:15 a.m. after a shot spotter detected shots had been fired. They also found similar shell casings at the scene. Shot spotter is a program that detects gunfire through audio waves and alerts police to the location. Kansas City, Kansas police found the body of 35-year-old Damon Irvin November 1st and the body of 25-year-old Rhodesia Farrow November 2nd in a high-rise 302-unit apartment building. Police believe they'd been shot and killed several days before they were found, according to sources. In Reed's federal weapons case, prosecutors allege Reed was the last person seen with Irvin and Farrow 4 days before police found them shot to death. Police found Reed traveled from St. Louis to Kansas City on October 28th on an Amtrak train. About an hour and a half after his train arrived at Union Station, surveillance video from the victim's apartment building showed Irvin holding the door for Reed as they both entered the building. 4 minutes later, both are seen walking into Irvin's apartment together. Irvin's family was unable to reach him after October 28th, despite numerous attempts to do so, according to court documents. Surveillance footage recorded October 29th at about 6 a.m. showed Reed leaving Irvin's apartment alone, but Irvin is not seen leaving the apartment after that date. On November 2nd, police found Farrow's nude body inside her apartment in the same complex. She'd been shot in her head and upper back, and her cell phone and wallet were missing, according to court documents. Security staff at the victim's apartment documented that on October 29th, Farrow entered the building with Reed, who presented a driver's license with his name on it. Surveillance footage captured an image of Reed with a crescent tattoo on his forehead. The cameras captured Reed entering Farrow's apartment about 6:58 p.m. on October 29 and leaving at 7:16. Investigators determined Reed communicated with Farrow 652 times between October 5th and October 29th. About 42% of the communications were outgoing from Reed's phone. Reed's phone stopped calling Farrow's phone after October 29. Reed told police his relationship with Farrow was limited to buying drugs from her, according to court documents. Police tracked down booking records from Reed's previous arrest and determined he had a crescent moon tattoo on his forehead. Police found the body of a third man in a separate apartment there, but later determined he died from natural causes. And there's a lot more information on this, on his case, on this
almost
article.
like we could cover that one on a standalone almost.
Yeah, just about. But I'm just glad they had. I know I had been reading articles prior to, they were talking about the possibility of a serial killer, but at that time they didn't know for sure.
Well, at least they got him
like
now.
that or not. Yeah,
So
at least they've got him. They got him in custody.
Killings.
I know they're looking to see if there's any more potential victims and stuff. And there's one more update I do want to cover real quick, and it's on breaking information coming out of Terre Haute, Indiana, and it has to do with the I-70 serial killer. And basically, the headline is, "Did he strike again? I-70 serial killer could be linked to the unsolved Terre Haute murder." Nearly 30 years after a serial killer Terre Haute, and just days after most season, the FBI launched a task force to re-examine the cold case. There may be a dramatic development unfolding. Multiple sources close to the investigation tell News Forum, reading this off KMOV4, that they're closely looking at a convenience store homicide in Terre Haute in 2000, nearly 10 years after the I-70 killings ended. Terre Haute along the Indianapolis-Raytown and here in Charles were the site of raids along in 1992, which was actually off I-135, so it's like 90 miles south of I-70. But anyway, Tuesday morning, Hood Police Sergeant Troy Davis confirmed there are similarities between the 2001 homicide and the I-70 homicides. Davis said investigators have identified a person of interest in the 2001 case. That person not in custody. Investigators emphasize they are looking for drawing at this point. 2001 case was a convenience store robbery where the killer killed Billman. The shooting occurred just 7 blocks from the Terre Haute's 1992 homicide scene. Now, according to multiple sources involved in the task force, the Brosman case was discussed at length behind closed doors to see if the suspect could be tied to the I-70 killings. Investigators are cautious to publicly make any connection between cases at this point, but another police source told News 4 that he's confident that the person who killed Brosman is definitely a suspect as the I-70 serial killer. Police have long speculated as to why, after killing 6 people in 1 month in 92, the killer suddenly stopped. If the Brosman case can be connected, then he clearly did not. And KMOV said they will continue to provide updates if any come out. And actually, on their article, there is a photo of a flyer on there that has a couple surveillance shots of the person of interest. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to send it to you.
All right.
Put up there, Brandon, real quick.
Here, send it to me. I'll put it up.
Yeah, hang on just a second. Saving it real quick here. Okay, come on. Hurry up.
Your connection's really
Technology.
bad tonight, Ricky.
Yeah, your connection's been in
Must
and out
be,
a
I
little
don't know.
bit tonight, Ricky. Hopefully everybody's been able to
Is
hear
it
you,
really?
but it's kind of been breaking up on our end a little bit on over here. Yeah.
I sound fine on my end. No. Here you go. I just shot it to you in the chat.
All right.
Sorry for taking so long, folks. I don't know if it's because I've got 2 different news sites up at once and it might be hampering me a little bit.
I don't know. I think StreamYard's been having trouble lately, honestly, to tell you the truth. I've been having some issues with it.
Roxanne saying her cousin's a cop and he's working on the I-70 case. Oh, Vista saying, yeah, I've been breaking up for me as well. Just me, or is Derek and Brandon breaking up on you too, or is it just on my end?
I think it's you, buddy. I think I don't like our internet provider that we share.
Trisha said it's breaking up on YouTube too. Is it just me, or is it all three of us, or no, just me?
Just you, yeah.
Just me.
Here's that
So
picture.
also a bit tinny sounding as well, apparently.
There's the picture.
Yeah, that's the images from the Terre Haute shooting. And if you look at the composites, he's got some similarities to the composites.
All right. Do they know who this guy is?
Well, they said in the article that he apparently had been identified, but just not apprehended.
Okay.
So,
well, if it's him, hopefully they get him, because if it's him, he's had like a reign of terror for a long time. So
yeah. I mean, there you go. You got two shots of him, gun in hand, but the gun looks awful small compared to the guns that he used in the other ones, if it is the same guy, because the other ones were considerably longer 22s.
Oh, wow.
Unless he changed up guns, which is always a possibility.
Right.
But
all right, man.
Interesting show.
All right, so our next one isn't scheduled until the 23rd. Or no, 18th. 18th. Yeah, the 18th is our next one. Yeah, Thursday the 18th.
And we're trying to figure out the week after that because that's Thanksgiving, and my schedule got changed up at work a little bit. So I would typically be off Tuesday. That week I'm not. So we're trying to figure out what day we want to do the show that week on. So as soon as we can get that figured out, we'll let everybody know. 'Tis the season in retail because I work retail. So let's see what we can come up with.
All right.
Yep. But whew, that was a long show. Just a little over an hour, not bad.
It turned out being pretty good. We didn't have a big caseload for tonight, so having Norm on was nice. Good to talk to him about, what we can get kids into some extracurriculars, maybe try and help them.
Yeah.
From that's not a cure-all, but it's definitely something else to give them an outlet if they're not able to reach out to people at home. If home is what's bad, an extracurricular could be really helpful.
Yeah.
If they find solace there and find, maybe a comfort in a teacher or fellow student that they can reach out to and maybe get help that they need.
Yeah.
So thanks again, Norm, for coming on tonight.
Yeah.
From In the Free Zone. You can catch him tomorrow night on Back on Media as well.
Yep. Yeah. And hopefully next week I won't sound so tinny and I won't be breaking up.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, hopefully so. Okay, and Andrea says that she just sent the information on Rosalind Velasquez and she's waiting for it to go through.
Okay.
Good deal.
All right.
I'll look at that as soon as we get done doing the show here. And I want to thank everybody for joining us and sticking with us. And I apologize for my technical issues on my end that I didn't know I was having until you guys brought it up. But thank you for letting me know. But until the 18th, you guys have a good night. Stay safe. God bless. We will talk to you Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.